Most poker players are leaking money, and they don't even realize it. If you know where the population is weak, you can exploit them for massive profits. Here's how to adjust your strategy to punish common leaks and print money. You can 3-bet more often against late positions, as they need to defend the 3-bet extremely wide, and population struggles to defend that much. If villain folds to 3-bet more than 40% of the time, you can exploit him with a very wide range. You can 4-bet bluff more against late positions, but you should 4-bet bluff a lot less against early position and middle position, unless villain is a regular. Play aggressively against small blind limbs, as population is not limping wide enough and is not defending often enough against isolation from the big blind. On the river, if someone only bluffs 20% instead of 33% of the time, when he bets pot, and you still call it GTO, 50%, you will lose 2x the pot size, whereas always, folding loses $0. You should double barrel aggressively in single raise pots, as population is not raising often enough against small flop continuation bets, using combos like King 6 suited, high lows, as these unblock the flop floats. Use bigger sizes in 3-bet pots on the flop with your value hands, as population is calling too often on the first street. Overfold against big flop bets, especially against early positions, as population is not balancing their range properly and have too much value when they size up. Overfold against bet-check bet lines, as delayed bluffing nodes are heavily underbluffed from players in position, especially if flush completes on the turn. Most players are overfolding against delayed continuation bets on the turn from out of position, as they do not protect their checking range on the flop. Turn probes from out of position are also underbluffed, so this is a great spot to exploit. Check raise more often from the big blind against late positions when facing a small flop bet, as late position will struggle to defend their wide range. Stab the flop more often from the big blind against the small blind in limped pots, as their range isn't as protected as it should be, and the small blind will have trash too often and will overfold against stabs. In a multi-way pot with both blinds, if the player in position checks back on the flop, population will bet way too frequently from the small blind. If the small blind checks turn after the flop checks through, the BB can exploit and lead turn with range, as both players are very capped. The most bluffed size on the river from the big blind is half pot,